that cohesion that they needed to have in order to challenge the best. Right now, they're taking on Fnatic. Have looked phenomenal in their first 2 games. We'll let you know that only 2 of their players have died. Photon and Kaiser. Perksbo and Upset currently deathless in their opening games. They've only died 7 times in total. They'll be looking to destroy Fnatic, who've struggled this weekend in Spring, and in particular, I'm looking at Upset to see what he's going to do, because there might be a little bit of backstory, a little bit of desire to crush.
I really want that button to just enter as a voice clip saying grudge match for this one, because it feels like it's so important for this Upset, trying to see if he can go up against his old team. And already we're still seeing things like the Caitlyn that he popped off of in the first game still being left open. I'm curious to see if it will be left through the entire draft, especially with Ashe. Greg is still up on the cards.
The thing is, Upset is one of those players that you never really have concerns around what champion he's going to play. He has consistently performed at an exceptional level across all metas, across all champions. Rekkles, on the other hand, a little bit more stuck in his ways, a little bit more adamant around the pool he wants to play. Draven will be the champion that's banned away along with Annie and Jace, Asol as well as Varus, and Caitlyn the final ban.
And I think a huge amount of this is actually the Xayah pick that we've seen him go towards an awful lot, but with the Caitlyn banned, Ashe is going to be taken onto the cards. Now, again, we've seen this a lot in the support role, so chances are that he's going towards Advian, as Photon gives us a little wave as he locks into Gragas on the opposite side. So essentially trading those 2 big pair of picks back and forth, but definitely the Ashe, such a menace at the moment.
I mean, that Ashe has found herself in the ban pool so often. And we'll find out whether Rekkles or Advian will be running it. Upset has locked in the Xayah once more. Used that exceptionally well yesterday. And I think the ability to peel for himself, the ability to reposition in fights for a player who is as mechanically proficient as Upset has been fantastic. So that will be the Zeri and the Vi now locked in. So Rekkles and Advian can be running that in the bottom lane. Kaiser most likely going to lock in this Rakan. We've seen that once before, and Razork will be running the Vi. Let's not forget that Gragas is a flex, can be moved into multiple lanes.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see exactly where they are going to end up putting it, but at least the moment it feels like a lot of attention is going to be down towards this bottom side of the map. You have this strong pushing lane with the Zeri, and also having that Ashe in tow, so trying to get down there, make sure you're able to disrupt this early is going to be very important for Vitality. But with Razork already having the Vi locked in, it feels like he's got a pretty good start here when it comes towards that jungle matchup.
Of course, assuming that Gragas goes that way. So Vitality now looking at phase 2 bans. Immediately going to remove the Talia, denying that from Humanoid. What if Fnatic want to prioritize? In what direction are we going to see Perks going? Because we've seen the Asol out of him, has been willing to cook a little bit as well.
Yeah, on the opposite side, though, one of the people I feel like who has been a bit limited is actually Humanoid. We saw him going back towards the Azir the other day, going back towards what was a little bit of comfort, and I feel like at the moment Azir just isn't it in the meta. Heavily nerfed when it comes towards his pushing power. Yes, he is stronger late game, but realistically what you need from Humanoid is someone that can control the lane state, buy time for Fnatic to scale into that later portion of the game, and not having the tools to do so, kind of be the savior for Fnatic in these early stages. Limiting him felt like such a weird move to me.
It's going to be very difficult because not only is he facing off against Perks, who is a fantastic laner, but I think Bo is one of those junglers that just seems to always find a way to disrupt his opponents, always find a way to punish lane assignments, punish people wherever they are. And I think if Bo ends up trying to play around Perks, that can be another way to shut down Humanoid, who's lost access to the Victor.
Yeah, personally, I think Bo is the best jungler in the LEC at the moment at finding enemy vision and then playing around it, whether it's going for a weird gank angle or coming in over a wall that you're not expecting to avoid vision. He's been incredibly good at it. Now, I just kind of criticized the Azir pick. It actually is going to be Perks going over towards the opposite side here, taking that one for himself. So I think for Humanoid, might be a bit of a help here where you're kind of going, okay, well now I can actually take something that has push into it, but with Talia gone, the Victor gone, that's going to actually be a little bit of a slimmer pool now, since a lot of those bans have already been put into place by Vitality.
Well, what do you make of the Azir in terms of the composition here? Because you just talked a little bit about it in terms of the meta, They will be playing into Humanoid's LeBlanc. And of course, you've got that disengage tool, the engage tools of the Gragas and the Rakan. So I can see the synergies being built up here from Team Vitality. On the side of Fnatic, pick power. Use that Ash Arrow to lock someone down. You can follow up with the Vi. All the mobility from Zeri LeBlanc. He'll have that front line of Oscarinen's Ornn.
Yeah, I think it gives you great setup when it comes. The Azir gives you great setup when it gets to the team fights. Same thing along this side. You're definitely playing for a strong team fight here as Vitality. It's just a question of how well can you control the lane. Now, this is still the quote-unquote, like rework LeBlanc. She still doesn't have the extra damage on her, or sorry, the reset on her Q, the extra damage and all that kind of stuff. So it is going to make it a little bit easier to try and deal with her in the mid lane as perks. We'll just have to see his Photon going towards the Camille here to try and be that big split push threat. And I think this is something that Vitality have been very good at is, okay, well now we're going to give more resource upset. Can we let Photon just have a good matchup and scale into the game by himself?
How do you see these two team compositions playing out? Because it feels to me like looking for those picks for Fnatic can be one of the early to mid-game options, but it's going to be very difficult when you look at the disengage tools on the side of Vitality.
I think a lot of this is going to be a case of seeing how Advian can set up on this Ashe, because as you said, pick definitely the name of the game when you get to the mid portion of the game, but certainly when you look towards, hey, how are we pushing that bot lane? Are we unlocking Advian so then when he hits 6, maybe he's fishing for Ashe arrows onto the Azir mid lane, setting up this LeBlanc for his success alongside the point-and-click CC of the Vi. You have a lot of opportunities to try and use Advian in creative ways, and I think it's really cool as Fnatic to kind of give the reins to one of their newer additions here and see if he can perform.
I mean, Advian has played one game on Ashe previously. It was a loss. But on the flip side of that, Humanoid's LeBlanc has a 68% win ratio over 35 games. One of his most successful, most impactful champions. He'll need to use the entire skill set, because when you look at the Azir, when you look at the Xayah, the Rakan, those are all champions that can be a little sticky, can be able to at least dodge potentially some of the damage coming down. So Fnatic looking to pick up their first win here in spring. And just to let you know, we do have a very brief pause as soon as we've loaded up onto the Rift. My eyes are going to be pegged and drawn to Upset in that bottom lane. Upset and Kaiser have completely run away with every single matchup that they've played this weekend.
I mean, 30 kills and assists, 0 deaths. Upset has been absolutely fantastic in that bot side. And I think it has been a great addition. Because as I said, I think the biggest problem that you had with Vitality from last split was, hey, look, we're going to leave Leon on weak side and see if we can play elsewhere. But when that wasn't really working out, they didn't have a fallback. They didn't feel comfortable playing around Neon. Now with Upset coming in, it feels like they have 3 super solid lanes they can play around, and Fnatic are going to have to deal with that across the map. And one of the big things as well is, like, looking at Bo, he's been so incredibly effective at, hey, I'm going to drop CS to just go and be a menace on the for the opposite team.
He's done that so much because Bo's stats are not particularly impressive, but the impact that he's having is undeniable. I mean, you talked about it. 3 members of Vitality deathless in their opening 2 games. I've got a quick stat for you just before we continue with this. Kaiser's damage percentage is higher than 5 of our junglers when coming into today. Now, obviously, this is a team that is 2-0'd in extremely dominant fashion, so their stats are always going to be inflated, but that is just phenomenal. And then you consider, again, it's because he's working with Upset. It's because Bo has been able to find impact. And I think that first game as well, Perkz playing the ASOL, roaming around the map and dropping comets to create chaos.
Yeah, also just Heimerdinger things. This champion is so absurd in the support role with the amount of damage that it's able to churn out, and didn't manage to pick it up in the first game of the split, and had a really good job, as you say, in that ASOL game against Astralis. But we'll have to see now, as we start to go forward, what they can try and achieve here. Already, not really too much happening. Bo going to move back up towards this top side and seeing if he can try and get into the spot lane a little bit sooner than expected, I think. Trying to, again, disrupt Advian and Reckless on this push.
Okay, keep our eyes then on Bo. Where is he moving? Does he make any creative plays? Starting in the top half of the map, as is Razork. Razork will have to find an answer in a way to at least contain Bo. I also do have to mention that Oscarinen has been struggling a little bit, has been focused and punished over his debut games here on stage, has been killed 6 times, isolated. And sometimes in the solo bolos, but also has been the recipient of so many ganks. Punish the rookie, get in his face, and try to put him behind.
And definitely a bit of stage jitters as well. You can kind of see that some of the stuff that Oskirnen, even going back to when he was playing in EU Masters, looking significantly stronger, very good in that carry role, but transitioning to the LEC stage, you can see taking a little bit of a step back, maybe feeling the brunt of having a bit more exposure there. But have to see now, back on the Ornn, bit of an easier to manage champion already, trading well against Photon.
Very nicely done there. And the Bellows Breath and the chunk down onto Photon. I think for Oskirnen as well, making his debut here, where the top lane pool has really progressed and developed in Europe. A couple of imports increasing the amount of competition, and as those two continue to trade, Humanoid will dash forward. Perks moves towards the Sand Soldier, gets the shield up, and will at least pop the passive. So a lot of aggression between the solo laners. Rekkles and Advien, as expected, are pushing with this double AD carry bot lane. And Kaiser and Upset, they haven't conceded too many minions just yet, but they are playing defensive under their tower.
Yeah, I think a huge amount of this for Vitality is, look, we have the opportunity, if we want to go very aggressive, because Gragas can try and be a bit, oh, hang on.
Look at this, waiting for the hook shot, bouncing forward, catches out Oskirnen, flash forward for the last shot, and Photon gets the solo kill.
It was going so well until it wasn't. Oskirnen getting just caught out there by Photon at the end. I mean, that's so sad. It actually had looked like he had at least a decent start, but trying to throw it all away now.
Now, unfortunate, and of course, the moment you get in range of those walls, I was just waiting for Photon's hook shot. He chased the dash and picks up another kill. That will be Oskirnen's 7th isolated death. And we'll say that at least on the Ornn, with the Call of the Forge God, as well as the ornaments that he can bring out, even if he does fall behind, the value he will bring the rest of the roster is still going to be very, very impactful, but he cannot afford to concede too much because Photon can just play the side laners. Kaiser will interrupt the back.
And that's the big problem here, is that you've already kind of got a decent setup when it comes to disengage on Vitality, with good engage in your 4v4, with Bo, Perks, disengage, Kaiser being able to leap in and set you up for success. So if Photon is getting these big leads early, he just becomes a bigger and bigger threat on side lanes, and even looking towards things like Rift Herald, right, where you can actually start to even snowball more of that gold in. Photon having push and top is going to make things significantly easier for him.
Yeah, right now Photon is a little bit behind the CS, but thanks to the kill, obviously up in gold. Let's give some credit here to Humanoid, Rekkles, and Advien, who've generated some minor advantages thanks to the ward that Photon has placed a little bit earlier. Fully aware that Razork is making his way towards this top lane, camping out in the top lane bush. So Photon playing defensively. He is flashless for now. Uses that sweep shot, gets caught out. The passive shield keeps him alive. Razork takes a tower shot, and Bo is in range to counter. Razork took a second tower shot as well and is now forced to back out.
Bit of a mistake there from Razork, taking both those shots. I think Photon was kind of trying to bait, see if he could wait until Oskirnen and Razork overextended as Bo moved up, but not going to be the case, and doesn't have to burn too much, should be able to catch the wave. But at least Fnatic trying to get this Ornn back in shape.
Yeah, trying to, again, apply that pressure. Humanoid diving onto Perks once more. Bo's got the flash available. Oskirnen has surged forward, gets jumped on with the hook shot, and takes another death. Just using up that mobility, and Bo in the right place at the right time.
And again, the fact that their Vitality are getting this success on top side is fantastic, but when we look at mid, here comes Kaiser in towards it, but not quite able to get anything, because the bot lane already for Upset, he's winning. He's already getting that CS lead. They're not getting the push that Rekkles and Advien should be able to get with this Ashe, and it's unlocking Kaiser to start playing around the map as well.
Yeah, Upset farming phenomenally well under that tower, under that pressure. Level 4 for both duos. Waiting to see once Advien unlocks the Enchanted Crystal Arrow if they can make some more plays. With Bo getting that gank in the top lane, his first of this game. When you look at his stats, down in CS, down in experience, but up in gold because of the kills.
And that's the big thing for Bo right now, is that the way he's playing is, I will suffer so others may rise. I'm going to fall behind when it comes to CS. I'm going to fall behind when it comes to actually clearing out my camps to make sure that I can... I mean, there's been times where he's gone literally, I'm going to gank Upset, screw all the camps, run immediately towards topside and just gank Photon straight off the bat as well. So Bo has been very good at finding that success and kind of catching people off guard as results. But Vitality, these wards and bushes are spotting Razork everywhere.
Yeah, they really are. Really heads up play. Bo's also around, level 6 unlocked. Could jump onto Rekkles, who's still got that flash and the ability to hop over the wall. And the recall finished from Razork, so Rekkles maybe a little bit unawares of the risk that he is in. I think for Bo, you might even make an argument that this is one of his slower early games. He's consistently farming up. He's found that kill in the top lane, but now he's just waiting for an opportunity to dive.
Look at mid, though. Everyone is congregating around Perkz. Has flash.
Perkz needs to do something magical. He's going to be able to use the Emperor's Divide in just a moment. Flashes underneath the tower, and the damage simply wasn't there. Perkz escapes and didn't even need his ultimate.
And Fnatic needed that to work. Look how much they're losing on the bottom side. Rekkles can't farm because Advian had gone up towards top side. They know Bo is in the area. And Advian had shot out the Hawk shot, but I think it was a little bit wide and didn't actually spot out what Vitality were doing.
No vision available. Turret plates are starting to fall. Bo engages, throws out the Q, throws out the R. Kaiser is the one that secures the kill. The third of the game for Vitality. The tower is under threat, and remember that when Oscarinen left that top lane, Photon was able to shove the wave, continue to chip away, and right now,
Rekkles,
he's going to take himself another plate. Rekkles, level 5, caught out by Bo's barrel, and Advian's trying to get the autos down, but they're staring down 3 members of Vitality. They're losing minions, experience, and tower plates.
1,000 gold bot lane, 1,000 gold in the top lane. Vitality are demolishing the side lanes here, and Bo's just going again.
Kaiser's level 6! Kaiser's level 6 to Advian's level 4. Rekkles is forced to ghost away to safety, and Advian gets taken down once more. The 2-level advantage, just dominating this bottom lane. 2,500 gold in the lead. And this is another game where Vitality just steamroll from the laning phase.
Someone needs to get upset in the dirt. Someone needs to kill this man, because his stats are going to be, they're just so skewed at this stage. He's demolishing every bot lane with Kaiser and Bo. And when it comes towards, you know, the fact that we're finishing off our first week, and potentially this man is going to go deathless, like, something needs to change here. You can't just come back after a split out and look this good.
I mean, Perkz, Bo, and Upset, the 3 members of Vitality who are still deathless, and continue to do so. As Photon has got himself the Exec Ultimatum, will lock Oscarinen in place, and he is dropped once more. Fnatic tried to set up the play, but frankly, we're not on the same page. We're not there quickly enough. And the ultimate was all that Photon needed to survive.
Yeah, I like how Bo was like, oh, me, as he just came in to steal it. Now might need to help out a bit, though.
Let's find out. Cease and desist underneath the tower. Photon gets a massive shield. The turret helping out. And another kill donated to Vitality. Humanoid is not backwards thanks to the explosive cast. And Photon's looking. He's got no mana to work with, though. Cannot chase with that hook shot. And Humanoid stays alive. But if there was a little bit more mana, Vitality could have picked up another.
I'm trying to find a polite way to put how badly Fnatic are situated in this game now. There's a lot of words that I can't say on broadcast that are coming to mind, because they ain't looking so hot. I mean, Vitality, you get bot tower, you got a plate in mid, you're getting 2 hills on the top side, like, yeah.
It's absolute decimation. And for Fnatic, on the cusp of closing out this week 0-3, I mean, you look at their statistics between winter and spring. Obviously only just a couple of games, but it has been a struggle. It has not been what you anticipate or expect from an organization with the pedigree and history of Fnatic, and they are not adapting either with players or support staff to this new format and to this new meta.
And the problem is that that stat from spring is a 2-game sample pool. We're about to add a 5,000 gold lead for game 3. This stat is not going to be looking so hot, and agree. Not being able to adapt, not being able to find ways to try and play around a lot of their key members just hasn't worked out. Razork and Humanoid not finding the mid-jungle success. Rekkles and Advian now still not finding success in bot side. Oscarinen still trying to find his feet in the LEC. It's been a bit of a disaster for Fnatic, who haven't won anything since 2018. It feels like a long time ago since they've actually been able to contest some of these top teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now they're looking for their first kill of the game and Call of the Forge God and cease and desist, and Fnatic will get it. Kaiser will drop. Kill was secured by Razork. Remember, they do have the pick options, so if they are able to group up, use some vision to their advantage, they can pick off individual members of Vitality. They'll have to do that several times over to claw back this deficit. And for Fnatic, this composition, it needs time, it needs items. Vitality, how do they accelerate? They've got a tower, they've already moved Upset to the top lane, and Bo is just waiting in the wings as Photon once again engage on Oscarinin. He's got a 20 CS lead and the Mythic completed already.
And this is the biggest problem for Fnatic right now, is that Photon will automatically win sides, so you need two people to deal with them, which is why Vitality can create numbers advantages on the top side now.
And this is the engage here onto Reckless. He's flashed already and just dropped in that bottom lane. Advienne and Razork now surrounding 3 members. Humanoid completes the teleport. Nishan and Crystal still not available. Upset lets the Feather Storm fly. Now arrows continue to fire out from Advienne and Razork gets another. The second of the game. Vitality a little bit overcommitted and get punished.
They will end up getting the 1-for-1 trade. The wave still dying to the top side. And as well, Perkz did get that played in mid. So even though it is a trade 1-for-1, Vitality still playing the map out a little bit stronger. And again, Photon just clearing out these waves on bot side, putting a ton of pressure onto that tier 2.
I mean, the net positive overall, because they're applying pressure in so many lanes.
Kiernan is dead.
Fancies himself and jumps forward, gets that sweeping shot. By the way, while all of this is going on, Perkz is still just left basically alone in that middle lane. He's taken a couple extra turrets. That's 2 turret plates already to his name. And he's just safely farming up to this mid game, scaling to wait for those potential team fights. And Vitality doing exactly what you mentioned, Dagda. They're applying pressure in multiple lanes. They are looking for cross maps, and they're doing it every single minute.
I think this is a really good game to show, though, the way Vitality play. And I think it's super unique to them is they're not actually a team that cares about Dragons at all. They're much more focused on, okay, how can we quickly snowball goat advantages by not wasting time on a Dragon and just overloading one side of the map. And again, you're seeing it here. Even Photon in tow here, as Fnatic are trying to hold on to this top tower, all 4 members are already here.
And that gold just allows them to continually look for those skirmishes and the kills. I think you've got individual players that really like to play on the front foot. Bo, Photon, and Upset have been players that just consistently play aggressively, consistently look to challenge individual members. And I think what I really like from this spring version of Vitality, they seem to be coordinating very well. On the same page, the roams have come out. Oscarinin has locked inside once again, taken down before he can get that second charge of the ulti. Reckless knocked back with the barrel, and he's taken down. Emperor's Divide buys enough time to keep Upset alive, and another kill secured. 10-2 at 14 minutes. It is once again domination from Vitality.
The caster bless you in there. You say, hey, look, they look coordinated. Immediately, they some miracle managed to keep Upset safe in this one. And Oscarinin, the focus here, which is never a good sign that your tankiest member is dying this quickly as soon as Vitality get in. But Kaiser, really smart play here. Pops the ultimate onto Reckless, doesn't use the W, follows back onto Upset to actually keep the charm there and then get the knock up, which buys space here for Perkz to come in with the Emperor's Divide. Upset survives on a smidgen of HP and Vitality walk away.
What was it that Yamato was saying? VIT Connect! The Vitality need to keep this one up. Next week they play the only other undefeated team, assuming they close this out, and I think that's a safe bet. They play SK, I think, on the Saturday, and then they play G2 on the Sunday for the match of the week.
Such a banger.
It will be, and hopefully both of these teams will deliver, will have a competitive game, because I think this weekend we've had a lot of fairly one-sided matches, especially from the top of the table squads. Once they get those advantages early, they just snowball. I mean, look at this. Upset, 3k gold up. Photon, 2k gold up as well.
But that's the thing. It feels like you're starting to see the cream rise to the top in the LEC with teams like Vitality and G2. And especially as you start to look towards these guys going in towards MSI and the internationals, I think that's where people are really excited to see these guys pop off. I mean, technically, Bo, undefeated against LPL teams, might be one of the best junglers you could possibly send to an MSI.
Well, that means Vitality have to get to MSI.
True.
Right? So they have to make it all the way to playoffs, have to pick up that win, or have enough championship points if G2 pick up the win. We'll explain all of those rules later on throughout the season, but I think it would be very interesting to see how Perkz alongside Bo potentially challenges an LPL squad, as Perkz is now the target, gets locked down under all the CC and will be taken down for the first time this spring. Fnatic finally coordinating their CC exquisitely, managing to pick up the kill and managing to pick up the Rift Herald. So they've got some tools. There's a bounty available on the top, well, all of the outer turrets as well. So standing gold available to them if Fnatic can have enough time.
I mean, at the moment though, Vitality not wanting to let up. You put pressure on top, we put pressure on bot. Good knock-up from Mascara, but buys some time.
The tower's going to fall though, and Oscarinen is going to be once again the target of 3 members of Vitality. Caught up by the Charm, and Bo now on the retreat. Here comes Razork. No cease and desist, no flash. Charging up the engage, and Rekkles unable to close the distance. It feels like Vitality have got out.
Fantastic timing on the ultimate from Upset. The second Razork uses his cease and desist, you immediately get the cancel thanks to the ult from Upset. Now Razork still hunting, but doesn't want to go too far into River.
Gotta be very, very careful. Finally has Advien as well as Rekkles making their way towards him. It is still 6,000 gold deficit, but it's much riskier for Vitality to move forward, to move to those inner turrets. That does open up those pick opportunities. That's the only way that I think Fnatic can claw back this gold deficit.
And that's what I was going to say. I like that Fnatic aren't just rolling over and giving all the space to Vitality. Playing around Advien, looking for picks with Razork and Rekkles. Like, Rekkles is going to be your main source of DPS, so getting these kills onto him is going to be so incredibly important. So at the moment, 2 Rift Heralds, both golds have gone into towards Rekkles. They want to make sure this area can try and get to her items. And if you can keep going for these picks, catching Vitality out, maybe you can slow down the pace of this game enough, but 7,000 is a hefty gold lead to try and overcome.
Yeah, it really is, and Rekkles right now only got that shield bow into the Gale Force and the Quick Blades from Upset, so a big damage disparity.
I'm fishing here, all right? I'm trying my best.
Channeling all the copium that you can. And I think for Vitality, on the other hand, they're just looking to, once again, style this out. Double TPs. Photon's going to hop over the wall. He's still got flash available to him. Throws down the ultimatum, and Kaiser has arrived with the quickness, charming up multiple members as Rekkles hops over the wall. Now Humanoid dashes back, and Photon, who was the initial target, turns it around. Bo throws out the barrel for another kill, and Advien and Humanoid running for their lives. Oscarinen targeted down by 3 members of Vitality, and this could be an ace. Photon considers the dive, but instead backs out. 4 members dead. Remember, Fnatic started that play, Vitality finished it.
Yeah, Fnatic went fishing and they got booted back to their nexus. That is not exactly how they were hoping that one to go. 18.5 minutes, the base is being cracked open. Vitality looking like spring is a much cleaner start for them, and I'm really hoping that we get to see this continue.
Well, looking to close this week out 3-0, just like they started winter. This Humanoid will dash back to his W. For Vitality, next week they will face down the surprise of 2023 in SK, as well as G2, the only other squad that is also looking as dominant. But I mean, look at the minimap. Vitality already making their way down.
Incredible performance from Photon here as well. Immediately gets the ult, which means he doesn't get hit by the Q from the buy. Able to flash away then. And once you've got the entirety of Vitality here, that gold lead, as Atlas would say, smacking them with the wallets there, and you got 2 bag loads at this stage with how far ahead Vitality.
I mean, I know we're in Oscar season, but maybe Oscarinen needs a Razzie award. Unfortunately, has been jumped on. Thank you for the few of you who know what that is. To be fair, every single team that has played Fnatic has just ganked the new guy.
Yeah.
It reminded me of old school TSM when Darius was still playing on the roster. He was the recipient of every single gank for so many games, and right now he's once again under threat as Kaiser's looking for an opportunity. Photon's got that TP, and it's just beautiful from Vitality. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, look, apparently all we need is Yamato before every Vitality game to just come in and scream big connect at them endlessly, and then they just pop the hell off. Now Baron started immediately at 20 minutes. Fnatic might make it there, maybe.
Oscarinen's got the Orn Horn, can throw it down. Baron 2,500, going to be a little bit late to the party. Vitality have secured Baron already, and they've turned the attention over to Oscarinen, and everybody's up in the air, flying. 1, 2, 3 members of Fnatic down the feathers, flying Rekkles.
Run, Rekkles!
Run! Will be taken out, and it's all of a sudden an ace off to the Baron, a 14,000 gold lead. And I feel fairly confident in saying that if they push and close this out, it'll be the quickest win here of spring.
And they should. 20 seconds still remain. They have a ton of damage, although Upset is going to back away. Looks like they won't try and fully end here. They're just going to be happy with cracking open another turret. Honestly, might even get a turret on the top side as well if Photon's able to push fast enough, but not even taking the inhibitors. This is brutal. They are not giving Fnatic any gold.
No, nothing whatsoever. They get the Baron. Fnatic managed to make it to the river in time to see it fall. But look at this engage here. Kaiser, multi-man charm. Knockup comes in as well. Both throwing those barrels, and it's just Fnatic can't do anything.
Photon is so far ahead. Level 14 already has everything you'd hope for to keep himself alive. And the Camille's are terrifying when they get to 2 items. You're looking at nearly a third here for Photon. Vitality just reset, they pick up Dragon. Red buff going to Photon as well. I imagine he's going to be sent down to the bot side here to just start escorting these minion waves in. And then there's not really much that you can do as Fnatic. This game is a long time over at this stage.
I mean, it's just, it's an interesting, couple of splits. We've got the new format. We've had some changes in terms of the teams here in the LEC. And expectations versus reality could not necessarily be further apart. XL and Fnatic really struggling, and CoinMed, yes, they stepped up in the playoffs. They struggled during the regular season. Like, there's not a foundation yet to really know what is going to happen. And teams that are adapting to this new format, adapting to the 3-game-a-week schedule, are the ones that are surprising. It's like SK, Astralis, BDS, and now, of course, this split Vitality.
It's really interesting to see, though, as Ultimate will get out. Arrow.
Let's take a look here as Kaiser manages to find the charm and the knock-up. Upset stepping forward, has the cleanse available to him. Perks manages to get the scoop.
Oh, the stopwatch.
It's a double kill already for Bo. Make that a triple as the Nexus turrets are falling. The shortest game of this split was 23 minutes, 41 seconds.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No.
Are going to break that record. They fancy a potential fountain dive. The Nexus turrets have been dropped. 1 and 2. And Vitality, do they go for it? Do they go for it? Looking for a Zork. It's 40 seconds to beat if they want to break the record. They're waiting for the respawns. Oh my god, the style, the BM, the domination. Vitality daring Fnatic to fight them. And Fnatic cannot even step outside the steps of their fountain, letting the minions do the work for them. And Vitality have the fastest win of spring.
Playing with their food at the end of that. Vitality. That was incredible to watch. Just complete control from the start from Bo, Upset taking over bot, Photon having his way in the top side in this Camille. Beautiful stuff from Vitality, and they honestly look terrifying. I'm so excited to see them play against G2.
Very, very excited. It's the 3-0 at the top of the table. They play SK first. See how that one goes. SK have had a couple more competitive, challenging games throughout the weekend. But Vitality, once again, destroying their opponents. Taking a quick look.
I like how speechless you are. You're I'm just
just watching the players on stage. I stand to be corrected, but I believe a few of the players just feeling a little bit unwell. So making sure they keep a little bit of social distance there. For Fnatic, on the other hand,